Oh, hello, hello. We are stepping in. Go live, baby. Y'all know what time it is. Got TikTok up and running. It is Monday evening. We are signing in. All right, let's get it started. Let's get it started. Let's get it up and running. Let's get that music going. I don't have any music. I should. What is going on, y'all? Shout out where you're from. Good to see you. Good to see you, TikTok. Good to see you, Instagram, Facebook, and even YouTube. We streaming heavy now. How y'all doing? The deal is still going on. You can still get in while it's hot. You can still get in. If you want to get the texting and class deal this week alone before class, make sure you book with me. Make sure you book. Indianapolis, let's go. Indianapolis, I love Indianapolis. In Connecticut, cold Connecticut, okay. How many phones do you have in order to go live with all these socials? I have Ecamm. So Ecamm has a lot of different plugged into one. So I have my mic, my camera set up. I got the mic, and then Ecamm, the software, allows me to do it through multiple softwares. But I also do have an iPad that I use for my TikTok crowd. Hello, TikTok. Good to see y'all. So I got two screens up. How do you become attracted to the guy you don't really like? Well, I guess it depends on why you don't like him. Is that something that can be worked through, right? Is it physical attraction? Is it chemistry? Because physical attraction, I feel like, can sometimes be worked on a little bit. You know, you can maybe show them how to dress a little bit, go to the gym a little bit. See, like, those things can be worked on sometimes, you know? But I guess it depends on what you're not attracted to. Is it possible to have a successful relationship without sexual intimacy? If you don't need sexual intimacy, some people don't need that, right? Like, some people are asexual, you know, and they don't need that. A lot of people need that. So I think any type of relationship is successful as long as you both are okay with it. But here's the thing, you know, like, what if they need it from someone, right? Would you be willing to let them do that somewhere else? I don't know. Hey, Florida. How you doing, Florida? Thanks for answering. Absolutely. I think sometimes y'all ask me questions as soon as I get in just to make sure it's not a recording. Let me see. Xavier, that's my son's name. Well, he's going to have a very interesting life. I feel like my name alone has given me an interesting life. Georgia, I love Georgia. Louisiana, Connecticut. They got Yale in Connecticut, Yale University. What's up, Yale? I wanted to go there. My life took a different route. Who doesn't need that? Some people don't need it. Some people don't need it. I'm telling you, it's crazy. Sunnyside, Queens. Queens, New York? I'm from Queens. I'm originally from Queens, New York. Yeah, some people don't need. See, look, asexual refers to a sexual orientation characterized by a lack of sexual attraction or interest in sexual activity with others. They experience romantic or aesthetic attraction, emotional, but do not experience sexual attraction. It is a spectrum, though. It's a spectrum. So asexuality is a legit thing. Will men stop thinking they can cheat, but women can't? So here's the thing. As long as there's an argument of what comes natural to people, that's always going to be their argument, right? Yesterday, I was on live, and some ladies were telling me that it's natural for a dude to hunt. It's natural for a dude to pursue a woman, and it's natural for him to get rejected. Dudes are built for rejection. That was the argument that, well, not the argument, but the discussion that we were having yesterday on live. So if you say that and you go on the most primitive thing to where it benefits you, then that's always going to be an argument. Because if we look at primitive desires, we can make that to whatever we want it to be, right? And I don't know why men have this double standard, because I've known women that could do the same thing, but that's how they think apparently, and I don't think that'll ever end. And a lot of it has to do with their own insecurity. They don't want to believe that the woman that they're with can sleep with someone else and have no feelings about that. That can make them feel insecure. What's up, Miss Boombastic? Why does a guy act like he's interested just to ghost you in the end? Now here's my question. Did you guys sleep together? That would be the question in between when he was interested and when he ghosted you. Like, was there any physical intimacy? No. Then maybe it was just an ego boost. Or maybe he met someone else. Maybe you were an option. You told him you didn't want to. Wait, you told him you didn't want to? How long were you talking? How long were you talking when you got into that side of the conversation? Because, I mean, that'll answer it right there. If he was trying to sleep with you in the short period of time and you said no and he walked away, well, that's how it goes. Most guys just trying to sleep around. Man I was dating showed extreme interest, asked me to be his girl. I said, let's take our time. He eventually stopped contacting. I didn't reach out, but just curious why he might have stopped calling. Because you didn't move at the pace he wanted. See, you got to understand, a lot of guys are going to cancel you if you don't move as fast as they want you. If you don't move as fast as they want you to move, they're going to cancel you. A lot of guys are going to do that because they are impatient and they're selfish. They want what they want right now, and they don't want you to have standards. That shows that they're not considerate, that they don't care about you, and that they don't care about anyone outside of their own selves. They're just doing things on their own terms. So honestly, I think that's a win for y'all. If a guy walks away that quickly and he barely knows you, and he's like, oh, you're not moving as fast as I want you to, then you dodged a bullet, because this guy's going to make someone's life very miserable. Because once you start that, it doesn't end. Once you start giving a guy everything he wants early in the game, it's just going to keep having to go like that. But shouldn't we be on the lookout for love bombing? Yeah, because it's a trick. Love bombing is a trick. None of it is genuine. Be upfront if it's not reciprocated. Okay. Yeah, so like that's what these guys do. But see, and the thing is, they're not considering your safety, right? They're not considering your space. They're just like, you got to move the way I want you to move. You got to do what I want right now as fast as I want. 2 to 3. Hold on. Let me go back up because I believe Miss up here said how long they were talking. 2 to 3 weeks and he was already asking to sleep with you? That's so soon, man. Now, here's the thing. If y'all are both on that same page, then that's cool, right? But if he's already asking you for that and he barely knows you, you know what time he's on. You know what I'm saying? And you got to think about that when you ask the question of, why did he leave? When he legit asked you, can I sleep with you? But see, sometimes I think there's a deeper meaning here. I think there's a deeper meaning. Because when sometimes ladies ask me, why did he leave? Even though he literally asked for sex in like 2 weeks and then he walked away. Sometimes I think that you feel like your worth is in question. Because I've heard ladies also say to me, was I not more? Was I not worth more than just sleeping around? Like, did he not see that? That he could just walk away? Like, was I all I worth was sex? Like, I've actually had women ask me that. And it's like, no. That has nothing to do with you, right? He didn't know you well enough to even know that. Even if you want to say that's true, you got to know you a little bit longer. He was looking for something when he got there, and you just happened to be a casualty. But that's the thing is, when we meet someone that we like or that we see that has potential, we have to stop assigning our worth to it. If they walk away, that has nothing to do with us. Because sometimes you guys are just not a match. It has nothing to do with who you are as a person. Most of the time, these people don't even know you enough. Thank you for the rose, Miss Boombastic. But it's not about you. And see, what happens, this is what I see happen sometimes. I've seen with my clients, a woman will get with a guy, and I've seen this a few times. In the beginning, the guy has potential, right? He's showing a lot of good things. He's ambitious, he's good looking, he's got stuff going on, family values, all of that. And she's really into him. He starts to pull back, right? At first he's all in. Thank you for the heart, H-Town. At first he's all in, then she starts to pull back. Then he starts to pull back. And then they'll get like, oh no, well, what happened? Why is he ghosting me all of a sudden? I thought he was into me. Then they start making up excuses for him, right? Thank you for the roses, Tam Tam. Tam Tam coming through with 9 roses. So they'll start making excuses up for him, right? Like, oh, well, maybe he's just busy. Maybe, you know, things are going on. Maybe I should wait and check on him. I'm like, nah. How did he get your exclusivity so early? How did he get your exclusivity so early? No live goal? What's a live goal? Man, let me know because I'm probably unplugged from TikTok lately. What is a live goal? Is that how much points we could get? Is it a goal? I sound like I'm 80 years old. Like, what's that? You're the bestest. Thank you, Tam Tam. Don't want him back, but when he comes back, they always do. I'm afraid I'll cave. Why are you going to cave, though? Why are you going to cave? Because here's the thing. There's nothing wrong with it, but you have to understand, if you're going against your better judgment and you're going against your morals and your self-respect, then you're pretty much telling yourself and him that you're not worth more than this. And see, here's the thing, y'all. Sometimes we're attracted to people. Sometimes we have urges. Sometimes you want to feed into it. But you have to understand that the image that gives off. Thank you, H-Town. I love H-Town. It reminds me of that Usher song. Dang, she got 14. Woof. Let's do it because I'm lonely. Thank you. 21, 23, 24. Do something for me. Okay, I'm going to stop. Thank you so much. I appreciate the gift. I love it. Because I'm lonely. So because you're lonely, that's an excuse to do what's against your values. So loneliness means drop my standards. You see how that sounds? So if that's the case, you're not going to meet your husband. The longer you let loneliness dictate your standards, the longer you go without meeting your husband. The longer you go without having self-worth. So you're going to have to sacrifice self-worth and your potential person, your potential forever person, because you want to feed into that loneliness. See, there's nothing, and here's the thing, if that's what you want to do, hey, no judgment, but understand that you're off the beaten path. There's a path that you're on, right? There's a path that you're on when you do the things you're supposed to do, when you act like the person that you want to be with. And I know it's lonely. I know sometimes it seems like there's so many bad people out here. And it seems like it's no other way. How many people do I have to go through? How many first dates? How many trials and errors? But let me tell you something. You can only do better. Because once you add someone into your life that isn't your standard, no, all you're doing is accepting worse. And see, here's where we underestimate ourselves. You will catch feelings. If I could tell you something of value, you will catch feelings. Come on now. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the likes. You're going to catch feelings. Because a lot of us think that we're not going to catch feelings. I could get with a person that's below my standard. Happens to dudes too. I could get with a person that's below my standard. Not really what I want, but they're a temporary filler. Thank you, H-Town. That she sent the bracelet. I wish I could wear it. But, like we think we can entertain these people that are not really what we're looking for. And then what happens? We end up making a bond with this person. And then we're like, oh, well, shoot, now I like this person that I'm not even supposed to be with. H-Town with the bracelet again. See, H-Town beating all of y'all, okay? She beating all of y'all on this live. So we're all gonna step it up tonight, okay? It's Monday night and I'm feeling good. I hope y'all are feeling good tonight because we're hitting it. Everything you say is of value. Thanks for the really good advice. Absolutely, because I want you to win. And I believe that everyone that comes onto my live, all y'all ladies are action takers. I believe that you're all here because you're action takers. You wasting time with me. You're spending quality time with me on a Monday evening because you're an action taker, because you want to hear the words that are going to get you to where you need to go. You want to know what that path looks like, and that's what I'm here for. So like I said, but by the way, it's still open if you want to get a session and you want to get texting with the class. Go ahead and type interested in the chat. Type interested in the chat if you want me to give you the time so that we could talk about if you qualify for all of those things. Because I'm doing a deal this week. Because I'm a believer, just saying, absolutely. And we've worked together. So you know I'm legit. Got asked out for a second date while on the first date. I wasn't sure. I wasn't 100%. I wasn't 100% sure I wanted to go out with him again. I'm 50-50 on going out again. What would you say? Well, what is it that you don't like? See, what was it that you don't like, that you don't know if you want to see him again? Like, what was wrong? Here's how I look at it. And ladies, I'm going to tell you a trick. This is a lady trick. This is not the dudes. We're talking strictly to ladies tonight, okay? It's ladies' night. If you don't feel like you're super into him within the first week, you might not want to consider dating him long term. You know what I'm saying? If you're not feeling him for real in the first week, if you're not hot for it in the first week, you probably don't want to consider going out with him. And I know some people are like, well, you can build to get there. You can let the feelings grow. But here's the thing. No, you know if you're hot for someone in the first week. You know it. You look at them, it's the way their swag is, the way they walk, the way they act. You know if you hot for someone. If you got to sit there and contemplate it and think about it, be on the fence about it, I don't know. You know if you hot for someone. If you hot for someone, yes. If you're not, don't do it. Don't waste your time. Like, I don't go out with someone unless I got some hotness in there. Unless I'm like, oh man, if I had the opportunity, I'd probably drop a bag. Like if I don't say that to myself, like under the right circumstances, things go well. I spent a lot tonight to hang out with you. I would dedicate my whole night to you, right? Off the vibe that we got. If I'm not feeling like that, no, don't waste your time. See, a lot of us are wasting time. We love wasting time out here. She said, that's my problem. I get hot too quick, then I overlook the red flags. Yeah, and that's understandable too. I've done that too. Where I've gotten real hot, and day one I was ready, and then the consequences come, right? So it's a matter of, and this is a hard balance, because we're all gonna run into one person or another that's gonna make us feel hot. But when that person comes around, you gotta be ready. You gotta be ready, because they always come around, man, every time. Like I have clients and they're like, oh man, this guy, oh man. And I'm like, all right, this is your test. You gotta chill it out. Chill it out. Don't let them get too much credit just because they have good stuff going on, okay? Then they end up crashing and burning. And they don't tell me, oh, I didn't tell you, but I got with him last night. I was like, wait. It's okay, but just like know your audience, okay? Know your audience. Know who you're messing with. Thank you so much. You will find your queen. Thank you. One day, hopefully. Yeah, it's a lot of work to do for people. They need to build their credit score with you first. I like that. And how do you build a credit score? You take a little, you give a little. You take a little, you give a little. You keep doing that over time until eventually you build good credit. But that takes time, right? These credit companies don't play. And the second you slip on it, we're going to dock you like 70 points. See, that's the right way to do it. You mess up with me, you're going to lose some points. But some of us, what we do is we make excuses. Your credit report don't make no excuse. When they say, when you like, oh man, I missed it by like a day, your credit score don't care. Your credit score isn't like, oh, you went to the hospital yesterday and you forgot. They don't care. Yo, credit scores got no chill, no empathy. They're like, look, I hear you. We still taking away 40 points. That 40 is mine. All right, so look, work it back up though. Work it back up. I believe in you. You gotta be emotionless with people that don't have rapport. People who don't have rapport, who haven't built a track record with you, who don't have any credit here, credibility. You gotta allow them that time. She said, oh, I hear you, but. Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, something happened to your grandmother? Oh, no. Them 40 points, though. I'm gonna have to go ahead and. You want me? I could just take it from you. I could just. In fact, that's probably how this is gonna go. That's how credit scores be talking to y'all. Oh, that's crazy. Got into a car accident. That stinks. Oh my goodness. They're doing this whole motion. Ah, man, it's a cold, cold night. I'm gonna have to take those 40 points though. I feel so bad. But you know what? You'll be back. I believe in you. I believe in you. You start working with people like that. You will be shocked at how they respond. You'll be shocked. We appreciate your feedback. Absolutely. I tell them I'm not being cold. I just met you. Yo, the fact that they say you're being cold, like they know what cold looks like for you. You see, people, sometimes guys tend to project how they're feeling into what you're doing. You're acting cold when the real answer is, that made me feel bad. You're being too bossy. You're being controlling. You're being too masculine. When the real answer is, you're making me feel like, I feel like less. I don't feel like I'm the man when I talk to you. And maybe it's something, but I need help. They're not gonna say that though. All of a sudden, everyone becomes a therapist the second we get into an argument. You're You're gaslighting. You're not taking accountability. You're manipulative. You're a narcissist. You're this. You don't listen. You don't do this. All of a sudden, we can diagnose each other the second things go wrong, right? We can start diagnosing everything about each other in this argument. When does that ever work? When does that work? When do you tell someone you're gaslighting and they're like, dang, you know what? I should stop that. You got me. That's what's been wrong with me this whole time. I didn't even know. How many times does that even work? I've never been in an argument where I was like, you're gaslighting me. And they're like, damn it, you're right. That wins the whole argument. You don't take accountability. Oh, man. Dang. Good point. Good point. Good point. Good point. You know, like, and then they sit back with a smile. Love you. I'm so glad you told me my diagnosis in the middle of a heated argument. In the middle of a heated argument, I'm so glad you pointed out how messed up I am. I'm going to go fix that right now. How many times y'all had that happen? Dang, my secret, it's out. You're so good. What if they did that? Oh, I'm a gaslighter? You're so good at what you do. In the middle of this argument where I'm trying to make my point, I now totally realize I'm wrong and I'm a horrible person and I'm a gaslighter. You're so right. I gotta be better. You know, I'm gonna fix that tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, it's all gone. All the gaslighting is removed because of the way you said it. You know, like this never happens. Because I think what happens is we're arguing wrong. We're not arguing correctly. Thank you, H-Town. She got that bracelet on. I'm putting the bracelet on. I wish it had like a highlight. Hey, I'll take what I can get. This is nice. I love that bracelet. What color is that? Is that pink? Let's do it. It looks blue. I'm kind of colorblind. We're not arguing correctly. Because what we do is we try so hard to diagnose the other person and make them seem like they're the worst of the two by putting the label on them, which is, hey, understandable. They probably do have that label, right? I'm not discounting that. But in the middle of an argument, you're bipolar. Because what we're trying to do is have a quick way to label the argument where it embodies everything that they said to this point. Like, I'm able to invalidate you in your entirety by shouting this label out for you. See? See, what we can do instead, if you want to have more effective conflict resolution, hear me out. This is gold. I don't normally give this one out. This one I give out to my private class, right? But I'll give you a drip. I'll give you a drip. That's what they say now, right? Don't laugh at me. Just talk about the behaviors. Just talk about the behaviors. See, it's hard to argue with behaviors. It's easy to argue with labels. If you call me a gaslighter, I can argue with that easily because gaslighting is on the spectrum. So you're not giving me the exact detail. So if you say that to me, I'm always going to have an argument for that. But if you say, I'm not comfortable with this exact thing that you did, that's hard. So the only thing I can do is try to deny it. But if I deny it, then you know I'm crazy. That's the end of that. I'm crazy. Because the fact that I just denied a behavior that I just did, or that'll leave room for me to say, how did you get that? Individual behaviors are the way. I'm telling you, try that, right? And here's another trick. I'm gonna tell y'all, I normally teach this to my private class, okay? Thank you, love is everything. I appreciate you. I normally teach this to my private. If you want access to the private class, type interested in the chat because this is what I do for the private class. I give answers. One of the ways to get out of an argument or to even try to win, which I know there's no winning or losing, but if you want to try to make it change course, ask questions. Love is everything. Thank you so much for the roses, mi amor. So what you say is, why did you do that? They're going to be like, what you talking about? Why did you just say that to me? What made you decide you wanted to say that? No, but you can't say it like you're mad. You got to say it very matter of fact, right? And it's going to be hard to do. This is where trigger training comes in, right? Because that's what I will train you to do is to learn your triggers, right? This is where trigger training comes in. Because if you're triggered and you start reacting and you start sounding crazy, then yeah, no one's going to get anywhere. But if you maintain composure and just say, what made you decide to say that? Like, for example, I was in an argument with a lady one time a while ago, and she said, I really thought that you were better than this. I thought that you were better than this. And I was like, what? I wanted to get upset. I wanted to be like, who are you talking to, right? I'm ready to get booked, right? But then I was like, you know what? Nah, you're not going to get me there. Thank you so much, H-Town, back with the bracelets. Come on, we're going to cheer for the bracelets. Let's give love to H-Town. Oh, wow, where's my volume, baby? I didn't even hear that cheer. Did y'all hear that cheer? Because I couldn't hear it. I had the volume down. So, but here's the thing. What I said was, thank you for the roses. Thank you for the roses. He got a title gifter. I'm sorry, the TikTok crowd is stopping my story because they're giving me some good stuff here. She said, I thought you were better than that, right? I thought you were better than 29 roses. Appreciate you, girl. I was like, you ready? Why did you just say that to me? I didn't call it narcissistic. I didn't call it verbal abuse. I didn't say what she was doing. I just simply asked, why'd you say that to me? You thought I was better than what? What exactly am I not better than? And she sat there like, I meant we're better than this. Oh, okay. You see? There's no argument to be had. There's no argument to be had. Did any of what she said have any validity? No. No. The argument was that, or the discussion was that she didn't feel understood because I genuinely did not understand her. And because I said I don't understand, she got upset at me and said, you need to understand me. And I said, I'm trying to, but I can't because I don't get it. And then the comment came, well, I thought you were better than this. So you see, there was a trigger because I wasn't. See, when some people say, and this happens with guys too, I want you to understand me. Understanding literally means that I comprehend you. Like I can get it for myself. If I don't get it, I'm not going to lie to you. And forcing me to lie, insulting me because I don't get it, how is that constructive to either of us? So that's clearly an attack on my character. But the attack on my character came from an insecurity because me not saying I understand can make a person feel like they're not understandable. So instead of saying, let me try to change how I discuss this, or let me try to explain it to you in a way that you can understand it, the first thing I do is try to shame you. So now here's the thing. I'm not perfect, but that was a perfect moment, okay? I'm going to tell you the perfect moments. But thank you. Thank you for saying that. But that's what I mean, right? Ask questions. We don't got to be yelling at each other. We don't have to call each other out of our names. We don't have to shame each other. Thank you so much. Love is everything. She got the roses again. You right. Between Instagram and I don't know if IG has this feature, but that's what you got to be careful about, right? You can get through many discussions if you just handle it like that, but you have to control your triggers. You have to control your triggers. See you later. Good having you. Thanks for the gifts. If you don't control your triggers, you won't be able to do this. And that's what I see happen to a lot of people in general is we get triggered. We start saying whatever comes to our mind. We can't control what happens after that. It's just war after that. And then everything gets lost. Thank you for the bracelet. Ask me questions, ladies. Like, so I am giving out deals this week. I normally don't do deals. I'm doing it more recently because I want to make sure I can reach more people. So I normally get a few clients at a time and I take that. I'm getting a few more and I'm also doing it for a deal. So if you want to get that deal, go ahead and type interested in the chat. For those of you I've already DM'd, you probably already have a session booked with me. This is a first time free session. And then we work, well, it's a discovery call. And then we discover what it is that you need. And then we work through that. Can I ask my same question from yesterday? Yeah, why not? Go ahead and ask. You've been giving me all these bracelets. Take advantage of it, girl. I'm looking at you. I'm really shocked him. It really shocked him. I didn't get crazy mad like the other girlfriends would have. Ah, man. Agreed. And it's no one else's responsibility to identify them for you. Yeah, exactly. See, we do the best we can with communication. But I feel like we could all do a little bit better in giving grace to people. Because I think that sometimes our first instinct is if this person doesn't do what I say, if they don't get me, then they're doing it on purpose. They're purposely trying to not get me. They're actually lying because they're trying to make me feel crazy. See, like, that's not always the case. Sometimes they don't get it. We're two different people, two different genders, right? Sometimes we don't get each other. All of the men who try to date me lately are way younger, like 15 to 20 years. How do you feel about large age gap? So I don't think there's anything wrong with the age gap. I mean, dudes do it all the time. But the challenge comes in is what are you looking for from these guys? Because if you're dating someone who's in their 20s or especially mid 20s, late 20s, the odds that they're going to be able to be a provider is a little slim, right? If you already have a house, if you've already had kids, if you've already had a marriage, had a life, and you got your stuff together, you're probably not going to require that from them, right? But also, they aren't going to be able to provide that because they're just starting out in life. Also, if you don't want more children, right, that might be something that they want. So the large age gap to me doesn't matter. What matters is like, where are you in life with them? Are you able to work or meet them where they're at? Because especially if you're the one that I would say is like the more mature one in a situation, you might have to be the one to pick up a little bit more because they're not going to know better. They're not going to know certain things socially, emotionally, financially. They're probably going to have a lot of deficits. If you don't care about that, or you're willing to work with that, because maybe they're a great lover, right? Maybe they're great at loving you, at treating you well, at taking you out. Maybe they have a lot of, optimism. Maybe they're going to be great and not jaded, right? Maybe they're not jaded. Who knows? But as long as you're willing to deal, there's going to be a deficit somewhere with everybody, right? As long as you're willing to take that on, then you're fine. Like I would personally, and I know it's typically different because I'm a guy and the ladies tell me, oh, well, you're a guy, it's easier. I'm like, well, I guess, but I'm willing to date someone younger if we're able to really like each other and vibe and there's no issues, right? For me, it's just like, do we match? Do we have things? My deepest, darkest insecurities, are you able to work with that? Your deepest, darkest insecurities, can I work with that, right? The kids thing is the only thing that is challenging. I can't have more of those. Well, luckily, there's probably guys out here that don't want them, right? Or who already have had some and they don't want more. Because we're having kids at all kinds of ages, right? Like, you never know. But yeah, that's typically the challenge because younger guys who normally don't have kids will typically want kids. That's what I see a lot. But it's about more than chemistry and having fun. Gotta be deeper. Well, I think that depends on the person, right? Because yes, you could say that, but I've met people who have had the most surface level relationships too. Some people are in a relationship just because the finances were hitting. Some people are in a relationship just because the person looks good, just because they own a house. It's not universal. Look at Robert De Niro. That is funny. It's true though. It's true. Sometimes it's just about the vibe, Like Idris Elba and his wife, how much of an age gap is there, right? Drea and the guy that she's with, that she just got pregnant by, what's the age gap there? Age gaps are like Priyanka and Nick Jonas. What are they, like a 10-year age gap? Nobody was fronting about that. We were like, yeah, Priyanka, yeah, Nick Jonas. That's hot. I know how it feels. I used to be on Your Best Behavior. He wasn't. So he was educate with a doctorate. Needless to say, he got angry and hung up. I knew he was troubled. Yeah, that's crazy. I'm hung up on it. They don't seem to be. I don't even know what to do. I pay for everything and take care of everything because I was the one that said I would do. Hold on. I'm trying to read this. I don't even know what to do. I pay for everything and take care of everything because I was the one that said I would do that. And yet it's still not enough because not the right person. It's not the right person. So here's the thing. Sometimes is it that it's not enough or it's not the right person? If you've given your all and this person is still like you're not doing enough, the problem is sometimes you do too much. If you do too much, sometimes that can work against you because then the person thinks that I deserve this. I'm entitled to this. Sometimes you got to let them know when some things are out of reach for you. You got to let them know, like, I don't normally do this. This isn't my normal stretch, right? But if you start doing that and saying, oh, I'll just own it, and then you end up hating it, you got to stop doing that. Let them get disappointed. But don't spoil these people. Don't spoil these people. So I have this guy. We both have kids, but not together. He wants more, but I don't. What do? You might end up breaking up. That's a deal breaker conversation. If one person wants kids and the other does not, that's normally a deal breaker. That's a hard conversation. That's almost like it's over. So what I would say is, if that's what normally happens, you can try, But there's really no real compromise on that. It's either sacrifice. Either you're going to have kids or he's going to be okay without having kids with you. And be careful with that because sometimes these guys will stay with you and they'll just have kids with someone else. You want to be careful about that. I guess for me, because I want something serious, if I'm investing any type of time in a man these days, well, and that's the thing, right? That's perfectly fine. We just have to figure out what your idea of serious is and what things that you need in particular, as opposed to anyone else. And then once we go through that, I think you signed up for the texting service with me, right? Who wants a texting service where you can text me all the time? Let me know if you want the texting service. True, thank you. Absolutely. And I'm sorry that there's a little black and white on that, but that's one of those conversations that there's just no easy way out, you know? I want kids, you don't. Break up. Like, I mean, what else can you do other than just sit here and keep trying to like spend time? Like, honestly, there's certain situations I would get out of as quickly as possible. I would get out of it as quickly as possible. Yeah, now you're broke. But yeah, I'm all about fail cheap and fail quick. Fail cheap and fail quick. And I swear, I'm here. If I hear people say I'm staying because of the feelings, we got to stop doing that. I'm not going to be nice about this. We really got to stop staying because of our feelings. Because that is driving us into the dirt. Feelings are good, yes. But if you are ignoring all logic because of a feeling, you're going to be in big trouble. You cannot let your feelings make your decisions for you all the time. You got to be balanced. My husband didn't want kids, kept pushing my kids away, and I almost lost them. See? That just goes to show you. He didn't want kids and you married him? I had a relationship like that before. He wants kids and I don't, so we split and we are good. Yeah. That's all you can do. You know, like that's a lifestyle change. Kids are a lifestyle. And it's one of those things that either you all the way want it or you all the way don't, right? I rarely hear people be in the middle like, well, maybe, kinda. Nah, man. You know how much goes into that? Now, I don't have children. I dated someone that had a newborn. Hats off to y'all that I've gone through that process because I was like waking up in the middle of the night. The baby monitor was on. Every time the baby turned, the monitor detects when the baby turns because you want to make sure that the baby doesn't turn too much. Oh my God. That was very tough. That was tough. I give it to y'all. Period. 2 years until I'm an empty nester. There we go. It's about to get real quiet. I'm sure you're going to love it though. My dad loved it when he became an empty nester. It took him like almost close to a year though to officially get used to it fully, right? It took him almost a year. I don't know. It may be hard. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it took him almost a year to get there. So you never know. By the way, if you're just joining my live, if you want to get the texting service and the class, you have to get it before Wednesday. Get the deal this week or get it by this week. Type interested in the chat. On Instagram, if you're on Instagram, type interested in the chat. If you want to book a free discovery call with me, they show back up. That is true though, because it's home. You know, it's home. Yeah, so any more questions, ladies? They're going in today. I like your name. Thank you. I don't even know how to say your name. Moldovunu. You got me there, man. Moldova. Told me in birthing class, parenting is like the army, toughest job you'll ever love. Man, because I have a puppy and that's a lot. I got a puppy and that's kicking my tail sometimes. Especially, you know, when kids, when they get to that age that they want all your attention. They want to walk you through every single toy they have. Look at this toy. Look at this toy. Look at this toy. Look at this toy. Watch me play with it. Man, I'm like, hey, I'm tired. I remember one time I dated a lady who had a kid, and it was a long, hard day of work. It was a long, hard day. I was on the couch, and her kid came up to me, and he was like, I want you to play with me. And I was like, sure. He said, can you drive the car? He gives me like a car, right? Just use his phone. He gives me a car. And then I'm like, yep. And then he's like, okay, drive it. So I'm literally like laid on the couch, right? And I start driving the car. He's like, no. I'm like, what's wrong? It was a long 9 to 5 day, right? He was like, you're supposed to get up and walk around. I was like, no, he's not saying that right now. I gotta get up. I got up like, vroom, vroom. He's like, no, you gotta run after me. I'm like, no, sir. Oh my God. What was the hardest challenge you faced when dating a woman with children? Ooh, that's a good question. So here's the thing, I love kids, right? So the child was not a challenge for me. They can only be but so much of a challenge unless they're bad kids, right? So there was no challenge there. The problem I had was his baby daddy. I mean, if you want to get real right now, that baby daddy is a lot. Because especially if they're co-parenting, because there's always going to be that energy between me and the dad. And he does things, you know. I've dated a woman one time that had kids, and she was supposed to go on a date with me, and I was trying to pick her up. The second I was about to pick her up, I was on the way there. I noticed that there were kids at her front door. And I was like, hey, do you know you got 2 kids standing at your front door? She was like, oh my God, my baby father dropped them off because he knew I was going out tonight. I'm like, did you tell him you were going on a date? See, like stuff like that will happen, like little petty things where he'll try to trip me up. And that's the thing that was the hardest for me to deal with. Because it's like, how long is this going to go on for? Especially if it's like early in the game and I don't really know you like that, and that's my first impression, that's hard for me to get past, you know? And I can imagine it's the same way for you ladies. That could be even worse. If you're dating a guy and his baby mama is not having it, I can imagine that's going to be hard for y'all. So it's normally the parents on the other side that make it an issue, you know? Not so much the kids. I love kids. I have fun. When I was with her kid, like we went to laser tag, I felt like I was a kid all over again. I love playing laser tag. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, that wasn't a problem. In fact, for a moment, I was like, this could be fun. Because I'm like a kid at heart too sometimes. So that was actually kind of fun. True story, man or woman, turning 18 is a blessing sometimes. See, y'all wrong. You know what y'all doing. They're like, make sure these kids grow up. No, but yeah, refuse to date people with little kids now. Yeah, that can be tough. That can be tough. You must have been with her for a long time to hang out with the kids. I say close to 6 months. Close to 6 months, because she wanted to make sure that we got along. But some ladies, I've had some ladies bring a child out on the first date. Like I remember I was like going to a Chinese restaurant and it was like one of those Benihana type of deals. And she was like, yeah, so just to let you know, I'm bringing my kid. I was like, wait a minute, already? Like this is our first date. What kind of conversation are we going to vibe with? By all means, but I don't know what that was. I don't know what that was about. So, it is what it is, man. Like I said, I have no problem with kids, but I think that, sometimes the dynamic of the situation is hard. It's a little tough to deal with. And it's hard. I can imagine it's hard on the parent too, to try to maintain that situation. If you got a crazy baby daddy, that's tough to deal with. That's tough. Because he's always going to be bothering you, especially when he finds out there's another man in there. You have a daughter and he finds out there's another man? Oh, man. That's going to be tough. Mine's is 20 and 26-year-old, and my 20-year-old hasn't left the nest. Kind of glad. Wow, they're all really close in age. Well, but they're both kind of close. I guess kind of close. 6 years apart. That's still enough to be a generation difference. I feel like the generations change every 5 years now. It's like different now. Would have canceled. We ended up not having that date. I didn't cancel though. But I was just like, are you sure? That sounds like a lot. Like I was just like being real considerate. She was like, oh, maybe another time. Yeah, so I didn't have to cancel. He got canceled on his own. Nah, but it's wild out here. Like trying to date with kids, I can imagine is hard. That's hard to do. You got to get a babysitter. You got to find someone that is going to watch your child while you go out on this date, while you're trying to go meet someone. I can understand that is a tough thing to do. I empathize. But it's not impossible. It's not impossible. Sheesh, we are rolling tonight. It's hard, and I'm an empty nester. I'm hearing empty nesters all night tonight. Sometimes kids judge more than the dad. Well, also, sometimes kids are good at catching vibes, right? Kids are really good at catching a vibe. Like, they'll know sometimes if this person is somebody to be concerned about. Kids aren't the challenge for me. Broken people are. Yeah, I would say that too, I would say that too. And what I would say is a challenge is people who haven't really gone to therapy that much. I'm not saying you have to, but I would say this. If most of your relationships have failed, or not failed, but like not worked out the way you wanted it to, it wouldn't hurt to step into a therapist's office. But a good therapist, because there's not a lot of good therapists. I have so many clients that go to therapists and they come to me and they're like, literally in a day, I got better treatment with you more clarity than I've gotten in the last few years with a therapist. Some of these therapists just want to make money off of you. So you got to be a little bit careful about that nowadays. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I'm direct. You know, I'm not here to sugarcoat it. I'm here to tell you exactly what's going on and what you need to consider. I'm raw with it. And sometimes that hurts feelings. Sometimes people are not ready for that. But I'm not here to give you what you're ready for. I'm here to make sure that you win. I think the goal is to have effective co-parenting and healthy boundaries. It's good to practice that before starting to date though, right? Yeah, but see, you know what I've noticed, some people get comfortable with the co-parenting situation and they start to like forget, you know, what it's like for a person on the outside coming in. They start to forget that because if you have a co-parent and they're like having way too much access to you and they're in your house and they're in your business, you're telling them every little thing about your life, you have that bond with them. Someone from the outside is going to be like, bro, like, where do I fit in here? Y'all still pretty much a family. You know, and that can be tough. So I would say establish those boundaries before you meet someone. You need to have hard boundaries established before you meet someone. And that'll make it easier for someone to enter in your life. That'll make it easier. So anyway, what else you got? Any last questions? Any last questions for the night? I'm gonna get on earlier tomorrow. I keep getting on late. Any last people that want to get on my texting service? Talk through your situation and figure out what you need help with. Anybody left? If yes, type interested in the chat. How's the puppy? She's good. She just got back from daycare and she is sleeping. Thank you for asking about her. I'm sure she would be happy to hear that. She's like right next to me. And she's like right there. She's passed out. Honest communication. It's her bedtime. Honest communication is my thing. However, people don't like the truth. When you hold back, sometimes you get accused of lying. Human beings are just that difficult. So here's what I say. Disappoint them anyway. I don't care if I hurt your feelings. Like, I gotta be honest. So I'm supposed to lie? I'm not gonna lie. I don't want you to lie either. Now, delivery matters, right? You don't have to deliver it as harsh as humanly possible. Like, you know, if one of us cooks and you don't like it, you have to be like, ew, this is the nastiest thing I ever had. This is gross. You could be like, hey, I just didn't like this. Not really my thing, but, you know, try again. See, that's a lot easier. Delivery matters. As long as you understand delivery, you can say just about anything. Once, what I find annoying is braggadocious men, instant turn off. Yeah, that's not good. And that usually comes from a place of insecurity. But anyway, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and jump off. I'm going to lay down. I'm going to get a fresh start in the morning. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. I'll be on again tomorrow, okay? Have a great rest of your evening and much love.